society at large was changing. Suddenly you were finding things like sex scandals making the front page. The word sex had never been used in the newspaper when I was young. और मुझे लगा एक फेज है सोसाइटी का जो नया आने वाला है और वो फेज जाहिर है उनकी आर्ट में भी दिखेगा. And you can either be part of that change, you can be a pioneer of that change, or then you can just sort of run after it after it's happened already. Right. So I thought my choices of film have reflected that thought.
Right.
चाहे वो धूप हो, चाहे वो मनोरमा 6 feet under हो, चाहे वो डोर हो, Summer 2007, which actually Suhail directed.
Yeah.
The same director who directed Kashmir.
Somebody like you, you know, who comes with a very strong personality, who knows her mind. अच्छा, इस तरह के इंसान के लिए, and especially a modern woman, you know, who's had a modern upbringing. I saw you play Nimmi in Manorama 6 feet under. You know,
this is a challenging part.
Yeah. Do you have to consciously shed a lot of you or some of you to, you know, and forget your body language and kind of work consciously on that?
I think so. I feel if I had to look back at my performances, I would rate Nimmi in Manorama 6 feet under as one of my finest.
I think it's a great performance.
I mean, while Dor was a great author back part, the difference between my performance as Nimmi in Manorama 6 feet under and Zinat as Dor is the amount of growth that happened to me post Dor, mentally, personally, professionally. Navdeep was somebody who just was so clear about his vision. He was just technically so sound, and playing Nimmi was just a walk in the park because of him. We rehearsed a lot, and I remember things like
because, you know, looking at you, I mean, you just know instinctively that this is not Gul Panag the way that
yeah, but that's an actor.
She's such an irritating character in the film.
I'm acting. That's my job. So,
exactly.
You know, that's why to play extensions of yourself is not really acting.
Bilkul.
I mean, for instance, the closest part that I've played to myself is Naina from Turning 30.
Turning 30.
I mean, that's like me, except she's so much bolder than I am. I don't have the guts to do what she would do. For me, Nimmi still rates as a better performance technically as well, because it's just you're playing this chen woman, like chen.
Yes,
that's what she is. And in fact, she's like, हाँ ये करो. अच्छा सुनो, तुम्हारे press card पे सुरेंद्र मोहन पाठक क्यों लिखा हुआ है press card? I remember it was not an effort to say press. The beauty of a good part and a good director and a good script is you don't have to act. You just be.
जो भी roles आपने अभी तक play किए हैं, सबसे ज़्यादा exciting कौन सा रहा है? I mean, which you look back on and kind of, you know, of course you're proud of Nimmi.
Nimmi definitely stands out. Naina, of course, stands out for being...
For which you had to really stretch yourself, stretch out yourself.
I think Sarsa, because the language is very, not the kind of language I speak, yes. It's a very thick hinterland Malwai accent.
Acha.
So theoretically, I'm also Malwai because my village...
Can you just speak a line in that?
It's not...
How does it sound?
It sounds like our Punjabi, like a normal urban Punjabi.
Twang keda hunda hai?
Twang nahi hunda us. Jame tusi kya, मैं थोड़ा पूछा, मैंने कॉफी मिल सकती है?
हाँ, मिल.
That's the difference.
Yeah.
It was the effort I had to put in acquiring an altogether different type of, because this girl is from Mansa, and Mansa is a very small place. She's not from GCG Patiala or GCG Chandigarh, and even GCG Patiala is a lot cooler than where Beant comes from. I remember when I first went for my first rehearsal, I wanted to cry. I looked at Jitinder and I said, can I just come back in a second? I went out and said, oh my God, what am I going to do? I just went out in the corner and did this because I couldn't fathom this language. You see, Punjabi for me is not a language you speak at home. It's English. And even if we have to speak in Punjabi, it's a Shahri Punjabi. Incidentally, even my parents don't speak this Punjabi.
Ji.
My father grew up in Fatehgarh Sahib, a village Mahadiya.
Yeah.
I grew up there. But our village is Punjabi itself, being, even though it's a rural village, proper village, our Punjabi has deviated from the traditional Malwai. Director Jitinder was so specific. He couldn't let me speak the Punjabi that I was speaking, but he was so specific about the Punjabi that Beant should speak. I think in terms of the language, the effort that's gone into each line that I've spoken in Sarsa has been mammoth.
Great.
Mammoth.
But you have a sense of satisfaction, and
I don't know, I mean, that satisfaction will come when people like it. Right now it's just my work, and let's see how people react to it.
I think आपका feature करना है उस film में एक बहुत बड़ा crowd puller होएगा शुरू में.
I don't know.
It's like, you know, lending some respect to Punjabi cinema. A lot of good actors, you know, from mainstream cinema are entering this industry, and I think it means a lot to the Punjabi industry. I think
the one more thing that I really like about Sarsa and is that it's a full commercial film, yet it appeals to my sensibilities. I mean, imagine a film that appeals to you where what a character would not do in real life, you wouldn't do in the film.
Yeah.
And yet being massively commercial in its outlook. It's very mass, it's very entertaining, and I think that's a combination that I haven't found in any film of that.
It doesn't happen too often.
I think it's going to increasingly begin to happen. For instance, I'll give you an example. I thought Omkara was a beautifully made film.
Yeah.
That's a film of my sensibility. That's a film that's massively commercial. These are films where characters don't leave the room with one hair and reach the destination with different hair. That's what I mean. The lack of detail and our carelessness as an industry to taking somebody's intelligence for a ride. For me, Sarsa represents so many things. It represents a complete massy pot boiler. At the same time, it doesn't take the audience's intelligence for a ride.
You, as in you, Gul Panag, the human being, the person.
Okay.
You obviously do a lot of mountain trekking and mountain biking and
all kinds of adventure activities. Yeah.
What specifically do the mountains do to you? I mean, because
I think it's the air and the energy that they have around them. Because I find that places like cities are overcrowded.
Yeah.
And because of that, the energies are confused. We all carry a certain energy. The kind of peace and tranquility we have in the studio is obviously not the same that we'll have outside of the street. And I think mountains just tend to have a more purer energy about them. I don't know, I think I'm sounding a bit spiritual, I'm not spiritual. But I just love the feeling of being in the mountains once I've crossed Shimla. I mean, that is, or if I've deviated off the highway and gone towards Chel or somewhere, or Mashobra or whatever. It's just that once the crowd falls away and thins away, that's when you can really appreciate the... I'm trying to organize a driving trip, you know, organize in the sense trying to match my husband's and my schedule. So we're trying to go to somewhere in the mountains to drive down for a week and camp.
Motorbike or car? That reminds me, you know, you got married last March 2011.
Yeah.
And there was an interesting wedding. Your husband on the motorbike and you in that little sidecar. What is the whole concept and what do you want to do?
I really was not focusing on that. I mean, I had so many other things to organize. I had friends coming from Bombay. I wanted to be able to have a good time. I didn't want to be the bride who sits on a chair just to get blessed and have hair pulled and cheeks pulled. And Rishi shared the same sentiments. I was actually extremely busy looking into other things during the wedding. When my brother Shivbir and Rishi decided to do this bike thing, we wanted a big bunch of bikes to be part of the procession. I called up my friends in Enfield and they gave us lots of bikes to ride. So we had
it was a very happy, cheerful, give a picture of you know,
it was
a very
fun.
fun wedding.
It was really good fun, yeah. I mean, and my concern was that I'll come out and I'll be going on the bike and have no glasses. So I remember giving my glasses to my driver. I said, Saroj, I said, can you just keep them? I'll come out of the Gurdwara and take them. So we both had, in fact, Rishi was carrying his glasses in his achkan. So we just had a great time. We enjoyed ourselves immensely.
You married Rishi. He was your boyfriend for quite some time.
Like forever. Yeah.
Does it take any specific, extraordinary characteristics for a man to, you know, be wedded to a woman who happens to have films as a career?
I think it does. I think it takes for a man who's not part of the industry is to be comfortable with the idea that there is somebody who is going to always have more attention than you.
Yeah.
And it takes a very special kind of man to be able to be okay with that and not be, and he was very clear. He said, I don't want to be known as your husband. So he never turns up with me anywhere for any public appearances, because I have a life. I mean, I'm a respectable human being and I don't wish to be known as your husband. He's very comfortable with the knowledge that that this is what she does, this is her job, and very often he will give me very good advice on the kind of films I choose and I don't. And in fact, are
there any restrictions which you consciously put on yourself also?
No,
post-marriage?
No. post marriage, it's not like I wasn't with him before that. So to say I suddenly have post marriage restrictions would mean I disrespected him earlier.
Right.
So for me, the commitment hasn't changed because of marriage. We've been together for so long, and marriage was just for us to have a great time. In fact, we weren't in any hurry to get married, considering we've been together for so long. And then we attended a wedding in Goa of two very dear friends of ours. Shruti Seth got married to Danish Aslam, and we had such a great time at that wedding. It was again a very small wedding, 100 people, and I said, you know, this is the reason to get married.
Yeah.
To have a great time.
Okay.
And that was the reason we wanted to have a party with our close family and close friends, and that's what it was. I think our guest list finally was at about 200 people. That's it.
Wow.
To 150 actually, not even 200. So that was the idea we got married for, to be able to have a good time.
Yeah.
And for me, the fact that I'm married is not going to change my approach to life, or work, or anything.
That's great. You are the very, very rare lucky women, I think, especially in the Indian context, I think.
I think we just have to just go with it. I mean, I feel the more you start catering to sensibilities of other people, the more you bind yourself down. And I mean, I was sitting and talking to a friend of mine right now before I came here, and she said, you know, I said, let's go for a movie. She goes, no, my husband's not in town. I said, so? She goes, no, it's not right. My in-laws will be upset. I said, then you are giving them fuel to burn you down eventually with, because if you're going to keep acquiescing to their views of you should not go out when your husband isn't around, then, I mean, I just feel that it's important to be assertive. Yes, it's important to be sensible and not create anarchy in your household. But I think you have to start being who you are and being true to yourself.
Yeah. Where does cinema figure in your scheme of things right now? I mean,
it's one of the things I do.
It's one of the things, right?
It's not the only thing.
What are the other things that you love doing and the things that you want to do? Like you just built a green home.
We are building. That's actually Rishi's project. I'm just the financer. I mean, he's of course he's also financing it, but he's been wanting to do something in the green space for a very long time.
Okay.
And we wanted a weekend home for ourselves, because living in Bombay is not our kind of living. We both are very into adventure activities, into kayaking, into mountain climbing, into trekking, into mountain biking. I do a lot of travel and lifestyle writing. So in fact, I'm off on the writing assignment to Europe this weekend, day after.
Great.
So I do a lot of that. Plus, we're entrepreneurs. Both Rishi and I do stuff. We have an aviation company. Cinema is a very important part of my life. It allows me to open doors which otherwise would be very difficult for me to open in other spheres. I enjoy working in the automobile sphere. I do a lot of work in the automobile space, in the travel space, and I enjoy being a freelance writer. It gives you a certain kind of in fact, I began writing, my first flirtation with writing was with Hindustan Times, the paper I used to work with. And today it's something that's actually developed into I wouldn't call it a career, but it is a space where I get to travel to the most exotic places and do the most interesting stuff. I'm going with a travel magazine on a driving trip to chronicle it across various platforms. You know.
There's nothing like traveling and writing about it. Finally, what do you seek out of your life?
It's I mean, the goal in life is really to be content and be at ease and be peaceful, and everything else just follows.
What does it take to be reaching that point?
I don't know, you know, I mean, there could be two ways of looking at it. One way of looking at it could be that it would mean a place where you get to do what you want to do, but that also means that you create a lot of activity for yourself, a lot of stress for yourself. I'm not sure if that's peaceful. Another way of looking at it could be that peace is what you get when you are completely content. But does that mean you stop working? I don't know. I'm still trying to figure that out. Maybe I will. Next time we speak, I might have an answer to that.
Yeah. You know, while we figure that out, thank you so much, Gul, for spending time with us and dropping into our studios. It was a great time talking to you.
Thank you, Balpreet. Thank you very much.
करना क्या है या पाना क्या है, सिर्फ होना है, और इस होने में से जो सरलता बह निकलती है, गुल पनाग उसमें सही मायनों में खूबसूरत दिखती हैं. ये खूबसूरती और बढ़े बिटवीन अस.